So today we're discussing section 19 of our Bhakti Pravesa program. And section 19 is about Mathura Vas. So of the 5 potent forms of devotional service, we have already discussed about 4 items, which is about devotees association, the glories of Harinam, deity worship, and Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, these 4 items we have completed. So these are the last 2 sessions of the 5 potent forms. So that is about Mathura Vas. So what is Mathura Vas? Mathura Vas technically means Vasa, means to stay at Mathura, or the holy dham, or the abode of the Lord. So this is a very, very powerful and potent item in Bhakti, because it is our experience that whenever we go to a holy place, somehow or other, our spirituality surges high above. Yes. Yes. So we should let us understand in the modern day context about what is the reality about visiting holy places. Is it sufficient if we simply visit holy place by booking our tickets and packing our luggage and buying some items and just, reaching the place and then booking our accommodations? Does it actually mean what is Mathura Vas? And does it really contribute to our spiritual advancement? So we will discuss that today. So what exactly is the Mathura Vas? Is it the spirit or is it the activity? So let us discuss about the activity in brief. So, it is our common finding these days that if we go to some holy places like Tirupati or Vrindavan or any place, what we see first, even before we enter the temple, what do we see on either side? Big, big shops. They are selling various items. And more so, there are so many food outlets. Always, a test for the senses, dragging our senses here and there. Buy me, buy this, buy this. And especially if you go with kids, they really always want some toys. So, encashing this propensity of shopping, there is so much upsurge in the number of shopping outlets at every so-called, every dham. The best of dhams, shopping outlets have increased so much. My daughter is currently looking at me very seriously. Yeah. So is this why we go to a holy dham? Is such a visit equivalent to Mathura Vas? So let us discuss this in detail. So there are people visit the dham, and sometimes the motivation behind the visit can come under the 3 modes. So somebody in the mode of ignorance, let's say, they tend to visit holy dhams for irreligious purposes. This is visiting the holy place in Tamoguna. And they're foolish. Like, for example, recently, I have visited this beautiful place called Parashara Lake. Lake Parashara. It's very close to where I'm studying. It's an amazing, very serene place, very beautiful place. We can understand that, the sages, the rishis, in what kind of an ambience they have performed tapasya by actually visiting such places. So this is a place where Parashara Muni has performed a very prolonged tapasya for the benefit of humanity. So it was such a wonderful place. But when I went there, I was little taken aback to see a group of youngsters visiting this place and, in all skimpy clothes. And because, the scenery, the scenic beauty is marvelous. In that area, they're just clicking selfies by wearing very, very skimpy outfit in that very cold environment. So this is visiting a holy place in the mode of ignorance. Ignorance means they don't know the purpose. Yeah, and they do the opposite of what is intended to do. Yeah, the purpose of the place is what? To elevate your consciousness. But these people degrade their consciousness. So this is visiting the place in the mode of ignorance. And there are some people who also do prohibited activities. For example, if you go to Tirupati, it is written, Dhumapanam Nishiddham. Do not smoke or drink here. And meat eating is prohibited here. Yeah. So there are some people who visit holy places and they do prohibited activities. Yeah, like meat eating, intoxication, illicit activities. So this is visiting the holy dham in the mode of ignorance. Then there are some people who visit the dham in the mode of passion. That means desiring something. Yeah, they really strongly desire, like many people go to Tirupati for having their desires fulfilled. Material desires, basically. So that's visiting, or, they have strong desire. Sometimes, maybe they want a relationship to work out. They want a good partner. Yeah, they want, their career to work out in a particular way they want to. So they visit holy places too, because they're very powerful places, and they pray to the deity, fulfill this desire of mine. If you do this, I will come and visit you again, or I will offer you so much of my salary, or I will do so many pradakshinas, or I will gift you something, etc., etc. Yeah, unlimited bargains they do. So this is about visiting the holy places in the mode of passion. There are some people who also visit in the mode of goodness. What is visiting these places in the mode of goodness? Some people visit the holy places to have, composure, peace of mind, to gain serenity. Yeah, to absorb in that ambience. So this is more, or some people just to acquire some piety. It's a pious activity. And or as a sense of duty. Some people even do it as a sense of duty. Yeah, my fathers, my grandfathers, they all have visited, and I'm also doing it. So as a sense of duty. So this is going to a holy place in the mode of goodness. So far above all these is to visit the place, the holy place, to take the darshan of the Lord. And higher than simply taking darshan of the Lord is to hear from saints. There's a beautiful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam that says, Yasyatma buddhir kunapet idhatike. Yeah. That means whoever considers this body to be just made of the 5 elements. Yeah. Yeah, Swadhi Kalaktradishu. So whoever thinks their Swajana and this land that they're living is their ultimate object of worship. Yat Tirtha Buddhi Salile Karkisit. So Yat Tirtha Buddhi, that means whoever visit Tirtha Sthalis, simply just to take bath and not hear from holy people. Janeshu Abhijneshu Saeva Gokara. Such people are considered to be Gokara, means very foolish asses. Who are those three people? Who are the people who consider this body to be made up of, who think they are simply this body that is made up of these 5 elements, or people who consider the place of living as worshipable, or who visit holy places simply to take a bath and not hear from holy people, are considered to be the most foolish people. So that is what, in other words, the purpose of visiting holy places is to hear from enlightened souls. So there's this beautiful verse, a nice paragraph describing how one should perform Mathuravas. So I will just share the screen with you. So we will read this, and if we understand this, then we got the essence of what is Mathuravas. I hope you all can see. Mathuravas means to reside in Mathura. So in the Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada adds that if we are unable to reside in Mathura physically, we should reside there in our minds. Residing in Vrindavan includes living in remembrance of Krishna's pastimes performed there. This is very important. Yeah. If we are unable to reside in Mathura physically, we should reside there in our mind. So this is what is applicable to all of us. Yeah. So all of us, we are staying in different cities. Like I'm in Hyderabad, most of us are in Hyderabad and in different places. So how do all of us perform Mathuravas? Here is Prabhupada telling us, if we are not able to reside there in person, we should reside there in our minds. In fact, this is more important than residing there physically. Sometimes it may happen that you may physically visit a holy place, but mentally you're elsewhere, always on phones or on, chats, or as I said, busy shopping or eating, or just taking pictures, just absorbed in the scenic beauty. Yeah. So that is not Mathuravas, although you are in Mathura. On the other hand, a person who is, maybe millions of miles away, like Srila Prabhupada, when he was preaching in the West, one day when he was telling that, although I am situated millions of miles away from Vrindavan, in this apartment in New York, which is the busiest city and the most materialistic city in the US itself, Prabhupada said, I'm still in the state of Vrindavan consciousness. Yes. So a holy place is not an external manifestation. It is a state of our consciousness. That is why a pure devotee is somebody who carries the dham wherever he goes. Yeah, wherever he goes, he can make that place a holy dham. Just like we say, somebody who's very knowledgeable, we call them a walking encyclopedia. Similarly, a pure devotee is a walking holy dham. Because wherever he goes, because of his consciousness, he can manifest that place outside. So Mathuravas means those who cannot do it physically must do it can do it in their mind. By remembrance. And how to do it? By remembrance of Krishna's pastimes. So when we are sitting here in our own cities, if we are remembering about what are the pastimes Krishna has performed in the different Leela Sthalis, what happened at Gokul Mahaval, that is a place where, Mother Yashoda has bound Lord Krishna and performed the Damodar Leela. It is the same place where different demons have come. Putana has come. Yeah. And, Mother Yashoda was so afraid from ever since that. And, she was so, she was always doing a lot of things to protect her son. from all negative influences. This is what happened at Gokul Mahan. There is a big, beautiful place called Brahmanda Ghat. That is a place where Krishna, as a cowherd boy, used to stand, he used to get on the tree and he used to call each of those 9 lakh cows by their names. And this is what happened at this beautiful place called Gokul Mahan. And there is another place, the beautiful place called Bhandirvan. Bhandirvan is a place where Brahmaji has performed the marriage of Radha and Krishna. Very close to that is a place called Veliput. Very close to that place is another place called Vamshivat, where actually the Rasalila of Lord Krishna has been enacted. It's such a beautiful place. I don't know if you've been to this Vamshivat. It's a very, very amazing place. Generally doesn't come as a routine place in the yatra. You have to take a lot of detour to get into this place. And just a little ahead of that is this place called Man Sarovar, where Radharani has performed this beautiful Man Leela. So this is all, in Bhandirvan. All these pastimes have taken place in Bhandirvan. So when we understand these are the beautiful pastimes Krishna has performed in these different vanas, we are actually residing in that place mentally, by full absorption. So within Vrindavan, that is a place where Kalia Ghat, where Krishna performed his dance on the hoods of Kalia. A little ahead of that, we see where Krishna has performed the Cheer Ghat, where he has stolen the garments of the gopis. A little ahead of that is Keshi Ghat, where he has killed the demon Keshi. So in this way, Krishna has performed unlimited pastimes in different places of Vrindavan. So when we are just remembering those beautiful pastimes of the Lord, we are actually living in that place. And this is really Mathura Vas. And this is what is recommended by Prabhupada. Yeah, by doing Mathura Vas in the real sense. On the other hand, simply being physically at a place and mentally absent or being there for wrong purpose will not give the true benefit of what actually a dham is ready to bestow. A dham is ready to bestow innumerable benefits. Innumerable benefits. Yes, so let us go ahead, read the remaining part of the paragraph. Residing in Vrindavan includes living in remembrance of Krishna's pastimes performed there. When we hear about Vrindavan and visualize Krishna's pastimes, we can associate with the Dhamma. Actually, Prabhupada brought Vrindavan to the West. Therefore, by serving Krishna in Prabhupada's temples and by living in remembrance of Braja Krishna, we can practice Mathura Vas. So this is the simplest way how one can do Mathura Vas. The Prabhupada has actually brought Vrindavan to the West. So what did Prabhupada do? He has installed the deities of Radha and Krishna, and he has began the worship of the deities. And most importantly, he has engaged all the devotees in serving these deities. And when the devotees are engaging, absorbing themselves in serving the deities of the Lord, and by assisting each other with cordial relationships and in the mood of being the servant of the servant, that is actually Vrindavan consciousness. And recently, I was just hearing to, Her Grace Vishaka Priya Mataji and Radha Vishwaji recently, nice lecture. So they were saying that, many years ago, when they were very, very enthusiastically participating in all the devotional activities and celebrating festivals, and there was one ecstatic festival that happened. It's called Pushyabhisheka. So after the Pushyabhisheka, Maharaj came and asked Mataji, so how are you feeling? So Mataji answered that, Maharaj, this Pushyabhishek festival is so amazing that I don't want to die. So Maharaj asked, what is this? What do you mean that I don't want to die? So Mataji said, I don't want to die because even if we go back to the spiritual world, I'm not sure if it is going to be as ecstatic as this. It can't get better than this. This kind of a celebration, this kind of enthusiasm, this kind of a happiness that we are sharing with all devotees celebrating together and serving deities of Radha Gopinath, it can't just get better than this. What if we go all the way, go back to Godhead and find that this place is better than that? That's why I don't want to die. So this is how, a pure devotee can give that, near back to Godhead experience. Just like we say, we have a near-death experience. So, a pure devotee can give us a near back to Godhead experience. Bliss, that happiness, that ecstasy. And how is that? It is simply in the change of consciousness. And what is actually going back to Godhead? Going back to Godhead is, while being here, we actually prepare that state of consciousness. And when we have this state of consciousness, we are automatically transformed to the spiritual world. So the spiritual world should first manifest in our consciousness. It cannot happen that we are in material consciousness and somehow, at the time of death, we will go back to Godhead. It can't happen. That is what Krishna is promising. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavan tyajati ante kalivaram. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavan. Whatever is your state of consciousness at the time of death, you will attain that state. So if my state of consciousness at the time of death is absorbed in material anchorings, my ambitions, my goals, my passions, my desires, my relationships, my achievements, if our consciousness is absorbed in that, we will be here only, fulfilling those in the next lives. But if our state of consciousness is Krishna alone, that consciousness is soaked in absorption of Krishna Tattva, Krishna Katha, Krishna Kirtana, Krishna Nama, then our next destination is Krishna Lok. Simple logic, simple mathematics. So that is why it is so important to cultivate that consciousness while we are here. And until we cultivate that consciousness, we cannot go back to Godhead. And what is cultivating that consciousness? It is cultivating the mood of service. Mood of service towards the deities, Sri Vigrahas, Sri Radha and Krishna. Mood of service towards our devotees. The kind of relationships we have with our devotees. Yeah. So this is what is a consciousness we need to cultivate. How much is our consciousness absorbed in simply hearing about Krishna and finding our happiness there. So these are all what makes our consciousness. And this is what actually will carry us to the next destination. So Prabhupada is saying that, has given us these temples to create, all the temples that are erected by Srila Prabhupada is to give us this training, before we actually be transported. It's a platform for us to develop this consciousness. So one way is by serving Prabhupada's temples, we can actually practice Madhuravas. Another way, we can make our home here, I'm just highlighting. We can make our home Vrindavan. That's another way. How do we make our home Vrindavan? Again, by by rendering proper deity worship, by inviting guests or devotees, Vaishnavas home and serving them appropriately. Offering nice bhoga to the Lord, nicely decorating the Lord, offering nice aartis to the Lord, and then serving the guests, especially serving devotees of the Lord. In this way, we are actually doing Madhuravas while being at home. That is making home, our home Vrindavan. We're just hearing the bhajan of Srila Bhakti Thakur. when I come back to home, grihete goloka bhai, because all these items of bhakti are being performed at home. Shri Vigraha Radhana, there is recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is kirtan of the Lord, there is service to devotees. When all this is happening, grihete goloka, that means your griha, your house becomes goloka. Some of you are getting into grihastashram the next, very shortly. So this is very, very, very important. Yeah, this is the difference between a grihamedhi and a grihastha. A grihamedhi is somebody who just lives in a home for one's own enjoyment, for one's own comfort, for one's own sense gratification. It's a grihamedhi. But a grihastha is somebody who makes his home, transforms it into an abode of service, an ashrama. Ashrama is a place where a person takes shelter. Yeah, shelter for executing the purpose of one's life. That is actually what is a grihastha ashrama. That is a purpose of family life. Family life means it is an ashrama. Ashrama means that's a shelter for you to execute your life's purpose, not to get absorbed in it, sucked into it, and then get into unlimited Saas Bahu serials. No, that's not the purpose of grihastha. But somehow, people are ill-informed and they get married and they get into all these nitty-gritties, complexities, and leave a bad example, such a bad example, the next generation does not want to get married or do. Yeah. So it is so important for us to understand the purpose of married life and live an exemplary life and leave a good legacy for the next generation. So today, in these days, so many people are averse to marriage. Why? Because they've seen that their parents are suffering, they're fighting, or their sisters and siblings, they have never witnessed any happiness. Ever since they're married, they're only fighting and fighting. Sister coming back home, hardly with a wish to go back. And so many breakups, divorces. My God, so many things happening. People think that why do I even have to invest so much into a marriage? So this is because one lacks the purpose of marriage. One should understand what is the purpose of grihastha, purpose of entering into a household. It is an ashrama, it is a shelter for oneself to execute the purpose of life. And what is the purpose of life? To reconnect with our divine Lord, who is the origin of every living entity. And if that purpose is not executed, then that ashrama is not an ashrama. Prahlad Maharaj calls it snake holes. Andha grihamandha pupam calls it a dark well. So one should really be cautious and understand the purpose and fulfill that purpose. And in the process, one attains true happiness. If not, how much people struggle. Yes, people struggle with failing marriage, or complexities arising out of not living in proper grihastha. So, grihete goloka. Make your home Vrindavan. And Vrindavan means not simply establishing deities and worshipping them. It is also about how we are relating to the people in the house. This together makes a Vrindavan atmosphere. So let's complete the paragraph. What else Prabhupada has spoken? That consciousness can develop in any part of the world. Yeah. So if we have that consciousness, we can make any part of the world into Vrindavan. Yeah. So wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. Advaita Acharya told, not Chaitanya. Vrindavan is where the devotee is present, where the deity is present, and where there is a talk of Vrindavan. We should be careful not to go to Vrindavan to carry out our material desires. we do this, we will offend the Dham. Yeah. So some people, they say that, oh, I heard Vrindavan is very powerful. Chintamani Dhama, whatever you desire, you to be fulfilled. So I will go and, ask for my so-and-so material desire to be fulfilled, so that I get this person as my husband or this person as my wife, or I'll get these many marks in my exam, or I'll get this job in this company. This is not why you go to Vrindavan. First of all, Vrindavan is a place of renunciation. After you're done with this material world, that's when you go to Vrindavan. That's why one needs to know the purpose. So this is what is actual spiritual tourism. The true spirit. The reason for why we should visit a holy dham is this. If not, perhaps we are committing what is called a dham aparadh and not benefiting ourselves. If you want to do sightseeing, go to places which are good at sightseeing. Yeah, like there are some good hill stations and all that. But when you're going to a dham, go for the purpose of why the dham is present there. Yeah. So the transcendent, Vrindavan is such a glorious place that, the glories of a single particle of its dust minimize the glories of innumerable Kamadhenu Surabhi cows, desire trees, and touchstones. Even the best of demigods like Brahma, Shiva, and Lakshmi never know the glories of such a particle of dust. Shri Vrindavan Mahimamrita. So that is the glory of Vrindavan. In the particle of dust of Vrindavan, one cannot sufficiently fathom how much it is. Even great demigods like Lord Shiva with all his auspiciousness, Lord Brahma with his 4 heads, the creator of this universe, Goddess Lakshmi, they cannot understand what is the value of a particle of dust of Vrindavan. What to speak of the Dham. Yes. So the only way to understand or fathom is simply when the Dham reveals itself, or when the Dhameshwar is pleased to reveal what this place is. So that's only when we understand the glory of the Dham. So before visiting any place, we should understand the significance. And how do we understand the significance? By hearing. By hearing from sadhus. That is when we understand the significance of the place. Yeah. And here we'll just complete it. When we are in Vrindavan, we should remain aware of the power of the dust of Vrindavan. It has been touched by the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna and is a powerful medicine to cure the disease of material life. You want to roll on it and cover your body with it. So this is about one who hears the glories of Vrindavan. Yeah. So why is this dust so glorious? Because this dust has been touched by the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani. And it has the power to end our material life. So many people go to Dham to prolong their material life and make it more complex by getting more promotions or material opulence or material favors. But the purpose of Vrindavan Dham, the dust of Vrindavan Dham, just by rolling in the dust, our material life comes to an end. So that is why we should understand this. I will just summarize what all I have spoken today. I spoke about spiritual tourism and its true purpose, true spirit. Actually, recent statistics have spoken, very clearly shown that there is an upsurge in spiritual tourism, especially in India. There's a major boom. Even in the last few New Years, there are more people visiting places like Badrinath and and Ayodhya and other such holy places, rather than visiting to places like Shimla and Ooty and other hill stations. So that is showing, that is revealing very good statistics in terms of what is being considered more meaningful in terms of investment of one's time, energy, one's money, efforts, etc. And what ultimately gives more fulfillment. So these are the recent statistics and facts. People are more and more wanting to visit holy places than mere fun places. Why? Because fun is just for a little time. It does not give fulfillment later on. But this spiritual tourism is giving fulfillment. That's why there is a lot of heart search in this. So what is more important in entering into the spiritual tourism is to prepare our consciousness. As what Prabhupada has spoken, it is more important to create that state of mind or consciousness rather than physically being present there. So Mathuravas as an item of bhakti, it means to physically reside there or while being here, cultivate that state of consciousness. How? By remembering Krishna's pastimes. Yeah, by serving Radha and Krishna in the temples that are given by Srila Prabhupada, or simply by making our own homes Vrindavan, by doing nice deity worship and serving guests and treating our people properly. And when we are visiting the places, we should be aware and conscious of the glory of the place by hearing about it from a pure devotee. That is when the Dham reveals itself. That is when we know the glories of the place. For example, if you're going to Tirupati, find out what is the glory of the place. You're going to Simhachalam, find out what are the pastimes that took place, what is the glory of the deity that is there, how long it has been there, how much it has been worshipped, how did it manifest. Or you're going to some place in the north, to Badrinath. What happened there? What is a Sthala Puran? Hear from authentic sources. And go there to enrich your devotion. And that is true spiritual tourism. That is true Mathuravas. And that will bring real benefit. Okay, so I will end my session here. Any questions?
Hare Krishna माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna दंडवत।
माता जी एक्चुअली में लोग ऐसा बोलते हैं, मतलब ऐसा स्टेटमेंट सुनने को मिलता है कि भगवान तो आप जैसे हो वैसे ही एक्सेप्ट कर लेते हैं, कपड़ों पे क्या रखा है। बिकॉज इन ऋषिकेश ऑल्सो आई विजिटेड टू मतलब जो पंजाबी लोगों का वो होता है ना गुरुद्वारा, वहां पर भी उन्होंने मना कर रखा है कि शॉर्ट्स वगैरह पहनकर और ऐसा ऊटपटांग कपड़े पहन के मत आना करके, ऐसे लिखा हुआ था बोर्ड में। तो मेरे साथ एक दीदी गई थी, तो शी वेयर दैट शॉर्ट्स ओनली। तो जेन्युइनली कपड़े मैटर करते हैं होली प्लेसेस में, और अगर मैटर करते हैं तो व्हाट इज द एसेंस कि मतलब क्लोथ से हम मतलब क्यों ऐसे जज करते हैं, व्हाट इज द रीजन बिहाइंड इट?
About the clothes one wears. That's what is your question?
यस माता जी की मतलब हमको कवर अप करके ही क्यों जाना है, क्योंकि पीपल आर लाइक फॉन्ड ऑफ वेयरिंग शॉर्ट क्लोथ्स, राइट?
Yeah. So why should we cover up? That's your question. Nicely. So because for two reasons. One thing is to keep our own consciousness properly. And second is to help the men around to keep their consciousness in the right attitude. If we wear, if women wear half naked clothes, skimpy clothes, it's disturbing the consciousness of the people who come for darshan, right? Instead of seeing the deity, they'll be seeing you. So it's a aparadh because we are diverting their attention. In fact, I remember if you are going for the darshan of Lord Balaji, at the security check, they say that you're not allowed to put even the mogra, kajras, actually South Indian women, they put these mogra flowers in their hair. So before going to the darshan of the Lord, they say if you're putting the mogra flowers, you have to remove it. You're not allowed to wear mogra flowers. Why? Because the scent, perfume that comes from the mogra, so it's a little stimulating. If it stimulates, the attention of the person, instead of going towards the Lord, will be diverted towards you. So if when we are distracting people's attention away from the Lord, it is actually a disservice. Our service is to take a person's attention closer to the Lord and not move the person's attention away from Him. So that is why we should not become too conspicuous. You know what is conspicuous? Conspicuous is too visible. So we should, when we wear something that makes us too visible in a way that we are distracting the attention of the person, especially in a negative way, in a lusty way. So that will be like a disservice towards the person in creating the wrong ambience. That is why in temples are, temples are cultural hubs. They're places which promote culture. So, and always the most prominent feature of culture is what women wear. What women wear reflects the culture of the place so much. How women dress themselves, how they behave, and how they carry themselves. That actually is a prominent insignia of culture of a particular place. So that is why we should dress very nicely. Keep our consciousness. See, even in our own consciousness, whenever we wear, let's say, jeans or some t-shirt, what's our consciousness? When we wear a nice sari and tilak, what is our consciousness? It's definitely a difference between these two. In our own consciousness, we can even examine it within our own self. So that is why it's very important that women become cultural ambassadors. They have a lot of responsibilities in being cultural ambassadors. India is such a rich and glorious culture, and we should be an ambassador of that culture. I hope this answers, Meghna.
Yes, Mataji.
Hari Om. Somebody has a question in the chat. घर को वृंदावन कैसे बनाए? Hari Om. Yes, our Sneha is very shortly going to enter Grihastha ashram, and she will invite all of us.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, so it's a very nice question, and please take the answer very seriously. The bhajan which we have sung just before the session, that in itself, just go through that bhajan line after line, apply it. That itself is Grihete Golok. That itself makes your house Vrinda. That is, have a sacred place in the house that is set aside for worship. That's the first and most important. A sacred place that is set aside for the worship of the Lord. And some paraphernalia for offering aarti, and some paraphernalia for offering bhoga. See, what are the prominent activities that take place in the house? Cooking, right? So just having deities, and deities become like, what is the difference between devotee's house and non-devotee's house? The non-devotee's house, the center of the house is television. You see, whenever you go to their house, click the bell, they open, and everybody will be watching TV like this. But in a devotee's house, the center of the house is altar. This is a difference. Yeah, so first thing is, have the altar as a center of the house. So altar can be simple, it's beginners worship. Small, I think you have a nice altar. Yeah, it's a nice place to start. And keep your worship regular and keep the standards of cleanliness. So in this way, this itself actually brings so much of transformation by practicing deity worship regularly and sincerely, by investing our time. And do a little japa in front of the deities, read some Gita or Bhagavad sitting in front of the deities. Okay, and make nice foodstuffs, offer to the deity, and give that prasadam to people who visit your house. These are simple practices, but these are such phenomenal practices. They can bring about such transformation, such revolution within your own life and the lives of so many people. Okay, this is step number 1. Number 2 is, invite people home and conduct satsang programs at home. So there are 2 very important responsibilities of grihasthas. Jivadoya, Krishnana. What is Jivadoya? Jivadoya means showing compassion for living entities. How is that? By offering prasadam. So either, you can invite devotees and feed them prasadam, or once in a week, whenever it is possible, host a satsang program where you invite people, give them Krishna Katha, help give them inspiration to chant, and give them nice Mahaprasad of the Lord. This is absolutely amazing. This is actually true Grihasthash. And so once in a while, you can invite people to read Bhagavatam with you or Gita with you. So conducting these programs at home, this is amazing contribution of a person for Grihastha to the community. And Kirtan should go on regularly at home. When you're sitting in front of the people, do some nice Kirtan, Mahamantra. Do something for the pleasure of the deeds, offering nice bhoga, singing nice Kirtan, making nice garlands, doing nice Tulsi worship. So much can be done.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
So I wish you all the best. And as especially when we do, one thing is to do individually, and when we do together as a team in the family, it's all the more beautiful.
And how to relate, Mataji? You said, no? You relate to everyone, Vrindavan Vasi, like whoever in family members, how to relate?
How to relate to them?
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's what we inspire them also to engage in the worship in some way.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah. My first step is give them more nice prasadam. And
Yes,
make
yes.
it favorable. Whenever a person is happy with the prasadam, their minds open up. It said, no? The way to a man's heart is through the stomach. So
Mataji.
be expert in making nice bhoga, nice preparation. You should be a nice cook.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Danvat Pranam.
Hari Bol. Yes. So that is actually Mathura Vas by staying at home. And especially with, one final thing. In a place where Tulsi Maharani is worshipped sincerely, that place becomes a dham. Wherever Tulsi Maharani is taken care of well, that place becomes a dham. So if you are worshipping Tulsi Rani nicely, you're actually living in a dham. Okay, yeah. What is the way to women's heart? It is said that, I won't speak about that, but I'll tell you some other statement of the scriptures. For a woman, the passion enters through eyes. No, through ears. But for a man, the passion enters through eyes. This is in continuation of Meghna's question. Why we should wear proper clothes? Because for men, the passion enters through eyes. That is by seeing, attractive objects, passion just enters it. And for women, it enters through ears. That is why we should not do guhya sambhashan, confidential talks with men, especially in seclusion. Why? By hearing, the lust enters through the ears. So the way to women is generally through the ears, by speaking nice words, flattering, etc., etc. But genuinely, if you want to make a way into a woman's heart, it is by showing commitment. There's a male and female psychology. It's wonderfully said. I just heard in the lecture. What a man looks for in a woman is actually, an emotional fulfillment. But what a woman looks in a man is commitment. We generally think how women need very sweet words always and all that. No. Women need much beyond that. Women need commitment. Men are happy by love, loving words and sweet words. Women need commitment. So the way to women's heart is by showing commitment. Okay, Jyotsna, I hope that answers in some way.
Yes, Mataji, thank you so much.
Very cool. Okay, we will end our session here. So thank you all very much. Hari Bol. So
Mataji. Okay,
yes.
Hari Bol. Mataji, you will stop recording now.
Yes.